Peace and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a recap of Cloak and Dagger's Season 1, Episode 2, Suicide Sprint. So both Tandy and Tyrone are reeling from the night before. Both had near-death experiences. Well, at least Tyrone did. Tandy, it was almost certain that the guy was going to sexually assault her. So it's the morning after, and she's still trying to figure out what happened. She knows that she stabbed the guy. You know what? She was able to create the dagger and stabs the guy, but she's still staring at her hand because she ended up cutting herself. And you know, she doesn't really know what's going on, and so she ends up meeting up with her boyfriend, and she tells him, like, I have to get out of town, you know, things are bad, you know, I stabbed someone. He was like, what do you mean, how did you stab someone? When did you start carrying a knife? And she was like, I don't know. You know, the guy, the last you know, marker that we had, he found me and attacked me, and I just gotta get out of town because, you know, I don't know, right now I don't know what's going on. And so they sit around there now they're starting to call hospital to see if anybody was taken in. I went to stab him last night. Tyrone, he's still reeling from his near-death experience of almost being shot, because for whatever reason he appeared on top of this apartment building. He finds the cop that actually shot his brother so many years ago, and the guy ends up a chase ensues, you know, at some point, and he ends up nearly missing him. He was able to teleport himself, I guess, back to his room. The bullet, he looks back, the bullet is there. So now he's actually sitting in his room now with the shattered bullet in his hand. He's probably thinking about, oh my God, you know, I could have just been another black kid, you know, found somewhere in an abandoned building, which is where he was when it happened. It could have been terrible. And so he goes down to breakfast. His mom's on the phone. You tell she's ringing somebody out at work. She's trying to put out some fires. And his father's sitting talking to him about the fight that he had the day before at the game, the fist fight he got into with the player from the other team who actually pushed him first. And so he ends up jumping on the guy and beating the crap out of him. And his father's like, you know what, you need to go in, talk to the coach, and talk to the people, apologize, and you know, the whole nine. So he ends up going in, and it's a Catholic school. And so he's sitting down with the priest, who obviously knows him, knows his story, and he's basically just been working with Tyrone to try to help him get through his anger and his frustration. You know, trying to help him navigate mitigate some of the effects of what happened to him so many years ago, witnessing his brother being killed. You know, apparently him and his brother, obviously him and his brother were very close, so a very traumatic experience, not being believed. You know, when he you know, came forward and told them about the cops. It's just, he has a lot he's dealing with. And so Tyrone was like, and the priest was like, you know, hatred is like poison in your veins. And Tyrone was basically like, well, shouldn't that be directed towards the person that put it there? I mean, shouldn't he share some of this blame? Talking about the cop. And basically the priest is trying to help him see, like, you know, he understands his anger and his frustration, but he really wants Tyrone to get past it, even though, I mean, I don't know how you could ever really get past some of this. So that he can have a life without all this anger and hatred, you know, it's because eventually it's going to turn him into this bitter, angry man. He's going to become this angry black man that people are so afraid of, that people, you know, constantly depict. And so he's really trying to help him while he's still young, to help to work through this. And so the bell rings, and the priest was basically like, well, you know, we'll talk about this tomorrow. So he had to go on to class. And so they're having a service. I don't know, like I said, I don't know a lot about Catholicism, but they're having a little service. The priest up there giving his sermon. Of course, him and Lord, I can't remember the girl's name that invited him to the bonfire. They're texting, and she's asking him about Tandy. He's like, well, who was that girl, and why would she do something like that, and talking about her pickpocketing the people these kids at the party. And Tyrone was basically like, you know, it's not his you know, she probably takes from people because some people probably took from her. And so they're, you know, had a little back and forth flirting and all that in their text. And she was like, you should be a saint. And he said something back to her. I couldn't really read the text. But he's not going to let this go. So the next thing you see is Tyrone sitting outside he left school. And he's sitting outside of the apartment building where the cop lives, and he sees his car is parked out there, and he's just sitting hiding behind the trash can, waiting for him to come out. To do what? As anybody's guess, you're unarmed. I mean, yeah, you're young and you're fit because you play sports, but okay. What he's planning on doing, I don't know. But he's standing out there right now waiting for him to come out to do something. And at this point, Tandy and her boyfriend are on their way to the dry cleaners to try to figure out how to get her a new identity to get her out of town. And, you know, hopefully before the shit hits the fan. So, Tandy and her boyfriend, they made it to the dry cleaners. And then the dry cleaners, they have a hookup with the guy who helps them move some of their stuff, stolen goods. He also helps them with like their little scam. So like if they need outfits for a certain event, they're able to go there. And so for the IDs, he's telling them it's going to be like $11,000 for a clean social, like everything, rental history, everything. It's going to be like $11,000. And so her boyfriend puts up half, and she's, you know, thinking she's going to go back to her home where her mom is to get whatever money she has there. And she arrives, and Mama's entertaining. She entertaining Greg. Greg is walking around in Mama's little pink little bathrobe, terry cloth robe. I don't know what the hell kind of robe is that. It wasn't leaving much to the imagination, I'll tell you that. And so she gets there, and they high off their ass and drunk, right? So her mom was like, well, Greg, he's a lawyer. He's going to help them with their injunction against Roxxon, which is the company their father worked for, that kind of laid everything at his feet, which is why they didn't get shit, which is why they ended up in the trailer park. And she's like, Mom, you know, it's been so many years. She's kind of, Tandy is just over the shit. Like, we've tried. They're not, you know, we're not gonna win. This is just another guy who's using you for sex, or whatever the case, some married guy that's using you for sex or whatever. So there's been a history of this with her mom, people misleading her and telling her what she wants to hear. And like Tandy is just over it. She's like, and her mom was like, you don't talk to him like that, and he's gonna help us, and da-da-da. And Tandy's like, you know what, whatever. So she's about to go in the bathroom to get her bag to get whatever money she have, and her mom tried to stop her. Like, before you go in there. And I'm like, oh shit, she done took that girl's money. So she's like, well, I'll be right back. So she goes in, and she sees the cover to the grate on the floor. So she's the cover to the grate on the floor. And she looks over, she's her bag open, all the, you know, the prescription drugs that she took. And then she walks out, and she's like, Mom, what the hell is going on? She took her money to file the injunction, the paperwork, so her Greg can file the paperwork. And so that just set her off, like, Mom, like what the hell, like, this is just another guy who's on the tour of the FEMA something, the trailer park, whatever, and he's basically just using you for sex, and they, you know, have it out. Like, Tandy's just not trying to hear that shit. She's just over it. And Tandy just basically was just walked like I needed that money. And then I think she was like, well, do you think I'm stupid? This is Tandy's mom. Do you think I'm stupid? You know, why you think I don't see all those prescription pill bottles you have with all different names on it? How did you get the money anyway? Like, bitch trying to justify the fact that you went in her shit and took her shit, right? So I mean, granted, she has a point, but still, bitch, come on now. So Tandy, she's just over it. She's ready to leave. And her mom was like, surprise, surprise, when things get a little tough, you run away, or something she said while taking another swig of whatever the hell was in that glass. And he's like, if your father was alive, he'd be whatever. And she slams the door and she runs off. Tyrone, he falls asleep behind the dumpster, wakes up, he realizes the police car is gone. He checks his phone. He realizes he's missed a ton of text messages. Basically, he was supposed to be at basketball practice. So now he's hoofing it, running back to the school to get the basketball practice. Of course, he's late. The coach has them running drills. One as a punishment because of the fight that he got into. And then he tacked on some more because he was late for practice. And then he tacked on some more because he showed up. And so Tyrone was like, you know what, I'll take the punishment. He's like, no. You stay dressed, you go sit up in the bleachers. So he basically had to watch them take the punishment for all the shit that he's done. And so, of course, they're looking at him like they can just rip his head off, right? So, Tandy, she's back at the dry cleaners. And there was this guy that came in. He's on his way to a wedding. There was something wrong with his jacket. He needed them to, like, do, like, a really quick patch job on his collar. I don't know, something ripped or something. And he like, you know, he paid them extra, like, I need this within an hour, photos, I need to, and so she paid them and they went ahead and took care of it. And so now Tandy has an idea that they're gonna crash this wedding. So they ear hustled to get the information that they needed. And the guy, I think what's his name, Elmer, is the guy that works at the cleaners. She was like, I need to borrow something. So she ends up borrowing the dress, and they go to the wedding, and they look at the table, because as you walk in with the reception, as you walk into the reception, you know, they have the name, the little name placement cards on the table, and so they look to see who were MIA or who wasn't most likely to show up, and so they were able to snatch 2 of them and sashay on into the party, and now they're just standing around, just kind of taking it all in to see where the weaknesses are, where the money is, this, that, and that. So, you know, they're trying to figure out how they're going to get the rest of this money, because I think the boyfriend put up like 55. That was just everything that he had. So now if they don't come up with his money, he's going to lose his $5,500, and her ass is still going to be stuck in New Orleans. So, okay, so there's a cop who's investigating the crime of the guy being stabbed, and her name is Brigid. And so Brigid, at the scene, she found, of course, the blood, and she found a cell phone. And she ends up pulling in the 2 guys who was there to help him kind of accost her and get her into the alley, and afterwards they left. And so she got whatever she can get from them, and then she had a sketch. They were able to give her a sketch of talking to the artist, the police sketch artist, to give him an idea of what Tandy looks like. And so now she has this sketch of her, so she's walking around asking people in the area, and she ends up walking up to this girl and asked her about her, and she kind of looked like she knew her. Okay, so Tandy and Liam, the boyfriend, they're still at the wedding, and now they're kind of going over their options. So there was like, okay, there's the card grab where, you know, they have a locked cage that has the cards, like with the gift cards, cash, that kind of stuff. They have that locked in the cage. So they peeped that, and so they was like, okay, so then there's the cash bar. So they peeped at how they were taking the money out and putting it in little pouches, okay? And then she talked about the tip money for the bartenders and the servers and all of that. And so now they have 3 options. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to hit all 3. They're gonna try to get as many hit as many as they can. So Tyrone, so he's still at the school. He decided to stay, and he took the punishment. He ran the laps. He's there by himself at this point. Well, what he thought was by himself. So he ran the laps, and now he's in the locker room. He realized that the guys are still there. So I'm like, okay, I understand that you being pissed off, but what they did to him was just kind of fucked up. Like, really. So they're pissed off. They get together. They beat the shit out of him. Not just beat him up to the point where he was knocked unconscious, and they locked him in the I guess that gated area where they keep the equipment. They locked him in there. So he wakes up and realized there's a chain with a padlock on the door. The baseball bat is back there, so he was able to get out of it. But I'm like, God damn, is that what, that was, I think it was a bit too far. Like, what if he didn't wake up? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if they would have came in the next day and his ass was still there, knocked the hell out, or died? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, that was a bit much. So now he's pissed. He's walking out with the baseball bat, and he finds himself back outside. Now he's waiting for the cop to come home, because I guess now he's gonna beat this cop down. So remember, Tandy can actually see your dreams, see your hopes. And so her and Liam, they're dancing and talking, and you can tell that Liam cares a lot for Tandy. And so while they're dancing, she gets into his head, and of course the people who she does this to, they don't know that she's doing it. So and she's like, you can see she's surrounded by light. It's really bright and, you know, cheerful, and it's meant to be uplifting, and they're dancing now. And what she's seeing is her in her wedding dress, and her and Liam dancing, and they're talking about the day they met and the whole thing. Like, this whole kind of like happily ever after kind of story, and it kind of freaked her out, and then she pushed him away. Now, of course, remember, he doesn't know what's going on, so now he's like, what is going on, what? And so she leaves, she goes into the bathroom. And so while she's in the bathroom, the maid of honor, who has actually, she has the pouch on around her arm, she's actually has the tips for the bartenders and the waiting staff in a little pouch. And so she walks in and she sees that Tandy's a little bit emotional. She's like, are you okay? Is everything okay? And she was like, yeah, you know, I run away from everything. The same thing her mother told her. And so they get to talking, and you know, the lady, being a decent person, trying to console her, and you know, as far as she was concerned, everything was all good, and she walks out. So now she's back out there. I don't know if Liam grabbed the stuff from the cash bar or what, but Tandy walks over to Liam. Now you see, look over, and the maid of honor, she's about to open the pouch to pay the people. She opens the pouch, it's a bunch of paper. So now she realized she just got. Tandy and them see her, they make eye contact. Tandy grabs the cage that has the cards and shit in it, all the money, and they jump in the people's car with the cans and shit sitting on task like just married. They jumped and stole the damn car, and to get away. So at this point, what's her name? Brigid. She's sitting outside of the building that Tandy goes into. Now, it's a building that she goes into that she kind of connects to the church where she actually stays. That she's actually standing out there now. She's found out where she lived, and she's waiting for her to come home. So I'm just like, that's so screwed up. Girl, you done stole their money and their car. Tyrone is on the side of the building waiting for the cop to come out, get out of his car, I guess, so he can attack him with the bat. He makes a mistake, he kicks something, makes a bunch of noise. The cop kind of noticed something is going on first, and so he hits the corner and Tyrone is gone. Okay. So he makes it home, and his mom is there doing laundry, and he's just looking at his mom, and he was asking her questions like, Mom, how are you able to keep it together after everything just happened? And she basically told him I didn't have a choice. You know, I can either let it destroy me, or I could do something positive with it. And so she works with local politicians as far as laws, trying to get certain people into office to help the community, basically. And she goes to kiss him on his forehead, and see, he can see like your fears and like all the darkness that's inside a person. And she went to kiss him on his forehead, and he saw her. She was in the grocery store, and him and his brother was there fighting and, you know, doing what kids do. And so Billy, who's the oldest one that got killed, he ran off first, and she was, you know, calling after him, and he turns the corner and she hears a gunshot and she stops. And then Tyrone is the kid, he runs off to fight, see what's going on. She hears another gunshot. And then she runs to turn the aisle, and she sees two headstones. And he's standing there seeing this. Like, this is like her fear. Like, it's almost like it's just something that, you know, he can see that on the outside she's presenting this presence like she has it all together, but inside, like, she's just really a scared woman who's still hurt and grieving. And so that really upset and hurt him. So but this time something happens, like she didn't know that he was in her head, but it did kind of zap her energy. It made her dizzy. And she kind of lost her balance for a minute, and he kind of helped her sit down. He was asking her, you know, if everything was okay. And she was like, oh, I think I'm just tired. And he's like, Mom, you just overworked, you're doing too much. She's like, oh, no, there's so much to do. And he just, you know, she sat down and laid down on the couch, and that was it. He put the cover over her. So now he's pissed that his mom is, he can see how much pain that, you know, she's in. So he looks over at the safe. And I'm like, why your teenager knows the code to the safe to get the gun? That kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? But that's what he did. And so we flash to Tandy and Liam. They're back at the cleaners. The guy left her password IDs and all that kind of stuff for her. So they're there returning the clothes. And Liam basically said, well, what happened back there? You know, when you got dizzy? She was like, oh, you know, nothing. Just tried to explain it away. And he basically letting her know that he was there for her, you know, and he was like, I understand that you have a lot of things going on. We all have shit going on in our lives, but, you know, I want to be there for you. I want, you know, us to, basically he wants them to be together. And she basically says there is no us. And she took her IDs and her bag and her stuff and she left. And he's standing there like, okay. So the cop was actually outside the cleaners, not outside the church where she lives. Because she jumped in the car, she took the car because he already has a car. So he went to get in his car, and then, you know, Brigid runs up on him and puts him in handcuffs. So we flash to Tyrone. Tyrone is back in the cop's apartment with the gun. He has him at gunpoint. He's about to pull the trigger. Now it's shadows, it's dark, so the cop can't really see who he is, can't see him. So, but he can see that the gun is aimed at him. He shoots the gun, and the cop is bracing for this impact, and then he opens his eyes, and he's gone. Tyrone is gone. We flash to Tandy. Tandy's in the car. She's about to hit the highway. Gets a call. It's a call from Liam, basically saying that I just got hit. I gave everything that I had to you, and I need you. I need your help because I'm about to go to jail. So this bitch turns up the radio and she puts her foot on the gas like she was going like, fuck you, I'm about to get up out of here. So, but that's what she thought. So what happens is Tyrone appears in the street, and so the bullet actually pierces the windshield of her car, and she veers off the road, and all you see is her hands glowing up, and she crosses, and then you hear a loud crash. So that's how this episode ended. So, yeah, I like this show. Now, I think the show might be a little slow for some people, but, you know, I'm okay with that. But, yeah, pretty decent episode, and I'm going to end this here, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.